Are there advantages to aging? Yes, I am Debbi-Jo Horton, and welcome to Advantages to Aging. Join my guests and I as we discuss aging and what makes for a healthy lifestyle, which results in a quality life. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome, listeners, to another episode of Advantages to Aging, where today we're going to talk all about the stages of life and how they affect your finances. Really interesting topic, I am sure. But there are so many advantages to really understanding your finances as we go through the different stages of life. So let's say, for example, college expenses. Depending on what it is that you're looking to, get a degree in, sometimes the cost of the college education is going to take years, sometimes decades, to pay off any student loan debt and to really make it worth your while. So not to discourage, but, make sure that you're really ready for college and that you're pretty sure of what it is that you want to be studying, because oftentimes people are left with a ton of information without a real career and a whole lot of student loan debt. And currently, there is a way that you can take a deduction on your taxes for the interest that you're paying on your student loans, but you actually have to be paying them. So that's like the first time we come into thinking about what our college expenses are, because there's the tuition, but then there's also all the books and the lab fees and everything else. So really getting a good understanding of what that is. And if you are maybe trying to save for a child's education, take a look at what it is right now and kind of figure out with your financial advisor, what should you be putting away and what's the best tax strategy to be able to put away for your child's education and not leave them with all of those student loan debts. Then we move into our career. We have to think about, do we need to up our wardrobe? Because most often you can't wear what you were wearing to college classes to your place of employment. And I guess it really depends, because if you're working from home, as long as you look good from the waist up on those Zoom meetings, you're probably pretty good. And you want to be adding to your wardrobe in a sensible way. So make sure that you got the basic colors that can be matched and, interspersed with different things. So have some key things that you can go to that you're going to be able to make several outfits out of just a few pieces. And there are some great stylists that can help you with that. Also, I know when people are young, when they're first starting out their careers, they don't want to put away for retirement. They think they've got plenty of time. Well, let me tell you, a small amount being saved with every single paycheck now when you're younger will allow you to turn that spigot off when you're, say, 20 years down the road and not ever have to contribute to it again and be able to have a good chunk of change to be able to draw on in your retirement. So there's so many different advantages when you're thinking about the different stages of life. When you're single, there are lots of advantages. You only have to think about yourself. You get to make decisions on what you are looking to do without having to ask somebody else's permission. But, sometimes it's good to have that other person, maybe a second stream of income coming into the household. It's easier to save up for those trips you might want to be going on or to purchase a home. So that's one of the ways that I really want to have you start thinking about the different stages of financial life. So not just the different stages of your life, but the things that you can do with the money that you earn in each one of those areas and what you might need to be spending on, as you get older and you start to have kids. Let me tell you, kids are expensive. So let's take a little tour through business advantages and those finances. When you're getting started in business, if you are a business owner or even if you are an employee, one of the things that you want to think about is those trusted employees or those key employees that you have in your business or that you are working side by side with, and what it really was going to take to keep them happy. And sometimes it's financial. Sometimes it's just people want to be recognized and appreciated. So always, first and foremost, start off with making sure that the people that you work with and the people you surround yourself with really know how much you appreciate them. Say thank you as often as you possibly can, but mean it. I love the saying, instead of trying to catch someone doing something wrong, do your best to catch someone doing something right and let them know how much you appreciate it, because oftentimes that is enough to get them to do it again and again and again. Now, one of the other things in business, especially if you're a business owner, you have those key employees. It takes a lot of time and money to train them. So you want to make sure that you're keeping them so that you're not having to turn around and have those expenses again while you find somebody else. There are a lot of different advantages that you can take advantage of to keep those key employees through benefits, through bonuses, and of course, making sure that you're paying them a fair wage.
Debbi-Jo with Neora. You know what our brand partners love the most about their Neora business? They can do it from anywhere. Think about it. Haven't you always wanted to have your own schedule, be your own boss, maybe even have a global business and be able to run it from your favorite coffee shop or lounging by the pool or seaside, not having to go into the office? We make sure that all of our brand partners have all of the tools they need to run their business while fitting it into their busy lives. So if that's something that you've been curious about, what it might be like for you to be able to do life on your own terms, then I think we need to chat.
So one of the things that I sometimes find is that when people start businesses, they will do it on their own as a sole practitioner or even as a general partnership. And a lot of times it makes a whole lot of tax sense. You'll have to talk with a lawyer if you want to know whether it makes legal sense. But tax-wise, if you are an S corporation, you might be an LLC being treated as an S corporation, you can pay yourself through wages. Why would you want to do that? Well, you're going to be paying both sides of the tax anyways, even self-employed. But it allows you to put a good deal of money away in a retirement plan. It also allows you to be able to get some employee benefits and make them a write-off as well. Whereas if you were doing it yourself, if you took it as an expense, you would have to take in the income if you were to use that benefit. For example, if you were to purchase long-term disability insurance as a sole practitioner, yes, you can deduct it on your Schedule A if you have enough expenses to actually take advantage of Schedule A. But if you do that, then if you ever have to draw on that income because of a disability, you would be paying taxes on that amount that you're receiving. Now, if you don't take the deduction for that, then when you take that money out, you're not having to pay taxes on it. However, if you're a LLC filing as an S corporation, you could make long-term care benefits an employee benefit and either cover the entire thing or cover a portion of it. And that way, the business gets the deduction. The other thing is you want to really think about what are some of the employee benefits that is going to benefit everyone and have them really feel that loyalty to you. So the other thing that I just want to caution you about, a lot of times people in business think that they don't really need a CPA, just like they think they don't need an attorney until you really need one. The IRS is knocking on the door or you're being served papers. It's really important, if you are in business, be in business. Do what you do best and then hire people who have the expertise that you don't have. It's so important to be using someone who is either a CPA or has that background and longevity in that CPA capacity. Same with your attorney, because they're going to know tax law inside and out. And they're going to be able to help you to discover some of those tax credits that you might be eligible for, be able to make suggestions about employee benefits to help you to keep those key employees. If you are doing it all yourself, and I'll tell you a quick little story. I just reopened my tax practice, and I had one of my former clients who a few years ago decided to do their own taxes, and they did not take all the deductions that they were eligible for, which was kind of odd that, like, as soon as I looked at it, there were no expenses on her Schedule C. And I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. The only thing that was there was depreciation. She forgot to put them in. So she had this huge tax bill. And then she was so nervous about it, she didn't file the following year. So here we are 2 years later. And when she heard that I reopened my tax practice, decided that she trusted me enough. I wouldn't be yelling at her. I wouldn't make fun of her. And I would help get her out of the situation she got herself into. Now, did she do that on purpose? No. Most people don't. But then you either get nervous or you get forgetful. And oftentimes it can happen like so easily. A death in the family, illness yourself, and you just forget. And then you get embarrassed. And then you don't know what to do. So always having a good group of financial people to surround you, a CPA, a financial advisor, maybe a banker. Make sure you've got that attorney in there, someone who's really going to be looking out for your best interest. It is worth paying them now for their expertise than having to pay them even higher rates when they're trying to get you out of trouble. So those are some of the things that I think, being more mature in business, you learn more and more about those things. And I know that when you first start off, you don't have a whole lot of money, but there are people who will barter. So maybe you offer a product or a service that they need and they can swap. The last thing I really want to kind of give some thought to is those personal advantages about understanding your finances and being able to communicate those finances. When you are dealing with another person, I mean, it's bad enough, let's face it, when you're trying to make those decisions on your own. But when you have someone else, a spouse, significant other, parent, child, doesn't really matter. You really need to be communicating what is going on in your finances and in your taxes. Give you a prime example. So I had a friend whose husband passed away very suddenly. He had always taken care of the taxes, paying the bills, everything. And she has a good head on her shoulders. She understands finances and whatnot. But after years of not having to do it, she realized, one, she had no idea like where copies of old tax returns were. She didn't know, like what bills were automatically being paid. What ones did she need to make sure she was receiving because they were coming in electronically and not in paper form. Changing even auto insurance policies and not messing up, the registration on the vehicles. Anything like that is so important to be able to communicate and have people know exactly where those things are. Safety deposit box. Where's the key? Well, it's very costly if you have to have the bank drill the box open. So you really want to know, like, how are the finances being taken care of? Where is the money coming from? Where are all those important documents? And then making sure that you are really exercising your best communication skills when it comes to not only dealing with your spouse, but teaching your children about finances and really helping them to understand a budget, understand that, you shouldn't be spending more than what you're earning. And if suddenly you find that you're earning less, then you need to know what can go. Like, maybe you have a really nice car and it's time to downgrade because, things have changed, because you either are starting a family and you need a bigger vehicle, or you had, the family and the bigger vehicle for all of them, and now they're out on their own, and suddenly you realize, I don't need that big gas guzzling SUV. I could get myself a much more economically sound vehicle that doesn't cost as much to take care of, and, I can handle it better. The insurance is less. So those are all things that I think that you really need to think about when you're looking to take advantage of knowing your finances, knowing what you should be doing in terms of taxes, and surrounding yourself with the people who really know. It's their business to be able to guide you and help you through every stage in life. Take advantage of some of those tips and start the communication today with those people that mean a lot to you in business and in life. Do you think one of the biggest advantages to aging is all the knowledge we gain along the way? Me too. What did you learn today? Share with me in my Facebook group with the same name as this podcast, Advantages to Aging. Now hit subscribe so you don't miss all the tips to come in future episodes.